Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about credit cards. It's going to be a pretty basic video talking about how do they work, how can you utilize them, and why do people around the world use them all the time. So basically everything that school didn't teach you. So thanks for all tuning in. This will be Financial Education episode number 7. So understanding credit. Credit is just borrowed money. So whereas a debit card is withdrawn directly from your bank account, a credit card is an agreement between you and the bank where the bank says that they'll pay the money up front with terms that you'll pay the money back at the end of the month or at the end of your statement. So here we have a hypothetical account where we have the current balance, which is all of the money that you owe compiled together. We have the statement balance, which is all of the money that you'll owe at the end of the month or at the end of the statement. And then we have the minimum payment. Now, this number is a bit misleading because a lot of people, including myself when I first got a card, figure that if I pay this minimum payment, I won't be inclined to pay interest. That's not the case at all, whatsoever. If I were to only pay $35, I would still be obligated to pay interest on $675 every single day. This minimum payment only puts you in good terms with your credit score, or your FICO score. So understanding interest. So when you're issued a statement, you have a 30-day grace period to pay it back. If you pay it back within this period, you won't have to pay a dollar in interest. And this works for every single month. But we know sometimes that's not always the case and people miss payments. So when you miss a payment, you have to pay interest every single day. When you're proposed, when you sign up for a credit card, you're given this APR, which is your annual percentage rate. Now, this number is also a bit misleading because you'll never have an annual percentage rate. It's a daily rate. So what you have to do is take this number and divide it by 365 for every day of the year, and then you multiply it by your balance. Now, the reason that a lot of people fall into crippling debt is because it's such a slippery slope because this number gets added upon your balance every single day. So the interest that you pay today is getting added to your balance, and you have to pay interest on that the next day. So yeah, if you're following with me, you can see that sometimes this can rise at an exponential number, and it can really get out of hand for a lot of people. So credit score. So if you prove to be a trustworthy client, you will start raising your credit score. Yeah, my recommendation is never charge more than you can pay back at the end of the month. A lot of people kind of get carried away. They get out of hand with this access to funds, and they run up their credit score more than they can handle. And at the end of the month, they're kind of left screwed a little bit. So for maximum efficiency, I recommend using about 30% of available credit. So most credit cards start off with around $1,000 to $1,500. I would probably use around 300 to 350 a month. I think that's a fair number, and it will also look really good on your credit score. So the 5 elements of this of your FICO scorecard. Number one, total accounts. It's good to have a few accounts. I know this is probably hurting me because I only have one open right now. But having a few accounts and proving that you have credit through multiple lines is it's important and it helps in your FICO scorecard. Number two, length of credit. This one's important because even if you're not going to spend any money on a credit card, just having it available is important because it's running up your FICO score, whether you use it or not. Inquiries. This is how many times you've applied. This number doesn't affect it all that much, but if you are signing up for a bunch of credit cards and getting rejected, this will negatively affect your score. Revolving utilization. This is basically that available credit thing. Don't put more than like 50%. I mean, you can, and it's not going to hurt it all that much, assuming you pay it back. But people have found out that if you use about 30% of your revolving utilization, that's going to run up your credit score the most. And then finally, missed payments. This is pretty obvious. This will negatively affect your score. Don't miss payments. So let's talk about hypothetical billing cycle. So starting on May 1st, that's when I start my cycle. So let's say I make a payment on May 2nd. I'm not obligated to pay this back until June 30th. Now, my recommendation is as soon as you receive your bill, you might as well pay it back. This statement isn't going to change at all. This statement is what it is. So as soon as you receive it on May 31st, you might as well just pay it back. But technically, yeah, you can make a purchase on May 2nd and you don't have to pay it back until June 29th. Now, what's the point of even using credit? Number one huge factor is your credit score. A lot of times when you want to get a loan in the future for a car or a house or a mortgage, whatever it might be, the first thing they're going to look at is your credit score. Now, being able to raise your credit score off small payments like purchasing gas or purchasing groceries at the store is huge because, later down the line, like I said, it'll prove trustworthiness. Number two, it's not the biggest thing, but security. It's nice because it's almost like a line of defense because your credit card isn't directly correlated with your bank account. So if something were to happen and your information was compromised on your credit card, it doesn't have any direct ties to your bank account. And a lot of times it's pretty easy to shuffle down and shut down. A lot of times that the credit card companies will be pretty cool about rejecting any payments. And this, yeah, this is important for online shoppers specifically. And then finally, rewards and benefits. Most, if not every single credit card nowadays offers some kind of rewards. Usually it's like a small, like a 1 to 2% cash back. But also there's a lot of sign up bonuses and stuff like that, where if you spend $300 in the first couple months, you'll get a $50 bonus or something like that. So definitely look through the terms of these and find something that appeals to you. And then finally, five things to look out for once you decide that you do want to get a credit card. These are all five super important things to look out. Annual fees. Now, most cards don't have an annual fee, but definitely keep an eye out for it because this is something that you don't want to deal with. Any fair credit card shouldn't have these, but getting stuck paying an annual fee really sucks. And eventually down the line, you might want to cancel your credit card, and this will look bad on your FICO score. So definitely look out for annual fees that come along with it. APR, your annual percentage rate, you want a low number. I think I said it earlier, but around 33% is pretty typical. Ideally, you should never have to deal with this because you should pay your debt off every single month, and you should never have to worry about your APR. But keeping a low number is important. Number three, foreign transaction fees. This doesn't really apply to everybody, but people that do business overseas, sometimes these credit cards will attack you with a small transaction fee for doing foreign business. Most of them don't, but just something to look out for. Number four, rewards. Yeah, I mentioned it last slide, but yeah, there's some pretty nice rewards out there. So definitely find something that appeals to you, whether it be a sign up bonus or yeah, like a cash back. And I know a lot of cards, like I personally own a Discover card. They'll own like every single month or every couple months they'll switch it up. So I think like last month was like 5% off Starbucks purchases, and they kind of do kind of special stuff like that. So keep an eye out for rewards. And then finally, the bank that's issuing this credit card. That's important to keep in mind because you don't want a faulty bank that's issuing your credit. The three that I really recommend would be Discover, American Express, and Chase. These are huge credit companies that have done it for a long time and are some of the most trustworthy out there. So that's about all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. This is probably a quicker video. So yeah, and I'm kind of targeting a younger audience. I want people to understand that if you're responsible, you can easily build a credit score. But at the same time, on the flip side, if you're irresponsible, you can kind of put yourself into some debt. So if you feel like you are, you want to have this rite of passage, you want to kind of dip your toes into the financial world, this is a great place to start. And you can really make a difference because you can run up this FICO score, which will, possibly get you loans and stuff in the future. So yeah, huge deal. And I think that, anybody that really wants to take accountability for their financial future, perfect place to start right here. So thanks for all tuning in. That's all I got for you. Happy Monday and have a great week.